There comes a time in life when the weight of yesterday presses so heavily on the heart that it dims the light of today. The pain of betrayal, the sting of rejection, the echoes of harsh words, they become chains that keep us from walking freely into the life we deserve. But forgiveness, true forgiveness, is not about excusing what was done. It is about releasing yourself from the prison of resentment. It is the gift you give yourself so that you may breathe again, love again, and live again in one. The burden of holding on, when we hold on to anger, resentment, or bitterness, it feels as though we are carrying a heavy stone in our chest, one that weighs us down with every step. We replay old conversations, reopen old wounds, and keep alive the pain of something that happened long ago. Yet in doing this, we are the ones who suffer the most. The person who hurt us may have moved on, but we continue to bleed from the same cut. Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to fall ill. It robs us of our peace, our sleep, our joy, and even our physical health. Stress, anxiety, and even illness can be fueled by the inner storms of unforgiveness. The burden becomes invisible baggage that we carry everywhere, into our relationships, our work, our future. Every smile feels dim, every dream feels harder to reach, because the weight of the past is pulling us backward. Forgiveness begins by acknowledging this truth: the pain is real, but so is the suffering we create by clinging to it. Letting go doesn't mean you approve of what was done. It doesn't mean you're weak. In fact, it's the bravest choice you can make, because you're choosing to no longer let the past dictate your present. The moment you release resentment, you open yourself to life again. Your heart becomes lighter, your steps freer, your vision clearer. Forgiveness is not about forgetting the lesson, but it is about releasing the chains that keep you shackled to yesterday. Only when you put the burden down can you finally walk into the lighting for you with open arms, too. Forgiveness is a choice, not a feeling. Forgiveness often feels impossible when the wounds are fresh or when the scars are still aching. We wait for the day when we will feel ready to forgive. But forgiveness is not a feeling, it is a choice. If we wait until our emotions are in perfect alignment, we may never forgive at all. Choosing forgiveness is like planting a seed. You may not see the fruit immediately, but with time, patience, and intention, your emotions begin to catch up with your decision. You choose forgiveness not because it feels easy, but because you desire peace. You make the decision first, and then your heart learns to follow. Think of forgiveness as setting down a bag of stones you've been carrying for years. You don't need to wait until you're no longer tired. You simply decide enough is enough. The power is always in your hands, because forgiveness is not something someone else earns from you. It is something you choose for yourself. This is the great paradox. When you forgive, you don't lose power. You gain it. You reclaim your freedom, your strength, your clarity. And though your emotions may wrestle with the decision at first, your soul knows the truth. Forgiveness is the doorway to peace. 3. Releasing the illusion of control. One of the hardest lessons in life is realizing that we cannot control the actions, choices, or words of others. We cannot rewrite the past. We cannot undo what was done. And yet, many of us live in torment because we keep replaying the what-ifs. And if onlys, we cling to the illusion that if we hold on tightly enough to our anger, somehow it will change what happened. But it never does. Control is an illusion. The only true control we have is over ourselves, our thoughts, our choices, our responses. When you forgive, you are not saying that what happened was right. You are simply surrendering the need to change what cannot be changed. You are releasing the false belief that by holding on to resentment, you can somehow control the outcome. Think of it this way. The past is like a book already written. You can't erase its pages, but you can choose whether to keep rewriting the same chapter or to turn the page and continue the story. Forgiveness is turning the page. It is acknowledging, yes, this happened. Yes, it hurt. But I will not let this chapter define the rest of my life. When you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you discover peace. The storm may have passed, but your insistence on reliving it keeps you drenched. By surrendering, you allow the sun to shine again. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is choosing to no longer wrestle with a past you cannot rewrite and instead investing your energy into the present moment, which is the only place where life truly exists. 4. Transforming pain into power. Every wound you carry holds a hidden gift. Pain, though unwelcome, has the power to transform you into someone stronger, wiser, and more compassionate if you allow it. Forgiveness is the bridge that transforms pain into power. Without forgiveness, pain remains poison. With forgiveness, pain becomes fuel for growth. Think of the hardest moment of your life. Did it not teach you something? Perhaps it revealed the depth of your strength. Perhaps it opened your eyes to what truly matters. Perhaps it taught you empathy for others who suffer. Pain, when transmuted to forgiveness, becomes wisdom. When you refuse to forgive, you remain stuck in the identity of a victim. But when you forgive, you reclaim your role as the author of your story. You are no longer defined by what was done to you. You are defined by how you rose from it. Forgiveness says, this will not break me. This will shape me. Consider the lotus flower. It blooms from the muddiest waters, yet its beauty is unmatched. Your pain may be the mud, but your forgiveness is the choice to bloom anyway. And when you bloom, your story becomes not one of despair, but of triumph. You show others what is possible. Forgiveness does not erase the pain, but it transforms its meaning. It turns wounds into wisdom, scars into stories of strength, and trials into testimonies. That is the true power of forgiveness. 5, forgiveness is for you, not them. One of the greatest misunderstandings about forgiveness is believing it's about the other person. Many resist forgiving because they say they don't deserve it. But here is the truth: forgiveness is never about them. It is about you. When you hold on to resentment, you give the offender continued power over your life. They may not even think of you anymore, yet they occupy your thoughts daily. You replay the past, and in doing so, you keep handing them the keys to your peace. Forgiveness is taking those keys back. It's not about absolving the wrong or saying it was okay. It's about saying, I choose my freedom over my bitterness. I choose to lie fully instead of letting this chain me. Forgiveness is self-love in action. Imagine walking with a chain tied around your ankle, dragging behind you a heavy weight. Every step is harder than it needs to be. Forgiveness is cutting that chain. You finally realize you were the one holding the key all along. The person who wronged you does not need to apologize for you to forgive them. Forgiveness is not dependent on them. It is a gift you give yourself. When you forgive, you reclaim your joy, your energy, your future. You stop carrying the weight of their choices and start living by your own. Forgiveness is not letting someone else off the hook. It's letting yourself off the hook. It's choosing freedom over bondage. It's choosing peace over pain, and that choice is always yours. A 6, living light and free. The ultimate gift, forgiveness, is freedom. When you forgive, you no longer walk through life shackled by chains of anger, bitterness, or regret. You become light, unburdened, and free. Think of a bird carrying stones in its wings. It can of us are that bird holding on to years of resentment. The moment we let the stones fall, our wings spread wide and we soar higher than we ever thought possible. Forgiveness is letting the stones go. Living light means no longer allowing the past to dictate your present. It means you wake up with peace in your heart, unafraid of what yesterday holds. It means you have space within you for joy, love, and possibility, because bitterness no longer clutters your soul. Freedom through forgiveness allows you to truly live. You laugh again. You trust again. You dream again. Life becomes a flow instead of a fight. The walls you built around your heart begin to fall, and in their place grows a garden of compassion, not only for others, but also for yourself. Forgiveness does not mean you forget. It does not mean you invite back what was toxic. It means you walk away without chains. It means you choose peace over pain, light over darkness, freedom over bondage. When you forgive, you align yourself with the truth of who you are, a being of love, light, and infinite possibility. And from that place, nothing from the past can ever hold you again. You are free. Forgiveness is not a single act, but a journey, a sacred path that leads you back to yourself. Along the way, you discover that holding onto resentment only weighs you down, that forgiveness is a conscious choice of freedom, that you cannot control the past, but you can release it, that pain can become the fuel for transformation, and that forgiveness is never about them. It has always been about you. And when you finally take that step, when you choose forgiveness, you find yourself living light and free. The chains fall away, and you are no longer bound by yesterday's wounds. You become the author of your present, no longer defined by betrayal, heartbreak, or injustice, but by the strength of your spirit and the light of your soul. Forgiveness is the ultimate act of self-love. It is declaring, I deserve peace, I deserve freedom, I deserve joy. It is looking at the pain of the past and saying, you no longer have power over me. Do not wait another day to set yourself free. The life you dream of, the laughter, the love, the inner calm, is already waiting for you. But you cannot step into that life carrying the weight of old wounds. Lay them down, release them, breathe deeply. Step forward lighter, freer, whole. And remember this truth: forgiveness is not about erasing what happened. It is about choosing what happens next. It is about reclaiming your power, your joy, and your life. The past is gone, but your future is alive, vibrant, and limitless. So today, choose forgiveness. Not for them, but for you. Choose it because you are worthy of peace. Choose it because you are ready to live unchained. Choose it because you were never meant to walk through life carrying yesterday's burdens. Set yourself free. For when you forgive, you don't just heal the past, you open the door to a brighter, lighter, more radiant future.